23. April 1996. I gave up a lot of her possessions last weekend. I can imagine that was a difficult thing to do. Charles scratched at the dog Mitzi's ear. Yeah, I guess I thought it was time. Tell me more about it. I still had all her clothing hung up in the wardrobe, her books, her makeup. God, some of that stuff had gone bad, let me tell you. And did you have any process to it all? He thought for a moment. Yes and no, I guess. I deliberated on it for a long time. What I'd keep, what I'd get rid of. I suppose when it came to actually doing it, it was pretty methodical. The sound of Dr. Anthony's pen scratching against his notebook filled the room. There's the guilt, said Charles, about moving forward. I know it needs to happen, but I can't help but think I'm leaving her behind. It's a fairly common trait that we would tie a person's value up in their possessions. Mum had an interesting thought, that if I gave all those clothes to St. Vinny's, they'd get a new life. It made me feel better about it all, that I wasn't just chucking it away to landfill. Were the kids aware of what you were doing? The doctor asked. Leah helped. She was stoked, to be honest. 5-year-olds just like to help, be kept busy, feel useful, you know. Dr. Anthony laughed. I understand that. It gave me a chance to give her some of the more special items that belonged to her mother. A bit of jewellery and the like. I'm sure she'll treasure those things. Yeah. Locke, though, didn't want a bar of it. He doesn't speak much about his mum. I try to give him that space, but I don't know. He trailed off. He's still young, the doctor replied. Just keep offering that support. I worry that he lacks empathy. He's a sweet kid mostly, yet I can't get him on board with a lot of things. I worry that I'm not doing a good enough job making him a decent human being. Dr. Anthony paused. I wouldn't go so far to be concerned about a lack of empathy. Children his age are still very inward focused, and he's been through a lot. Has he got any hobbies? Things he shows interest in? He loves music. Charles' face lit up. Dead set talent, my boy. We got him into guitar at school, and his grandmother's piano is finally getting some use. She reckons we should just take it from her. That's fantastic. I've just got to try and encourage his gift. I don't know shit about music other than listening to it. You can get him to teach you a thing or two, the doctor suggested. A way you might get involved, validate his interest, show you care. Charles was nodding. The thought hadn't crossed his mind before. He knew 1 or 2 chords on a guitar, but that was it. I just don't want him to think, he said. Sorry, just dialing it back here. That I was removing his mum from our lives by sorting through her things. Well, you keep the important things, the memories, the photographs. There's little things you kind of forget though. Her smell. God, it was still on her clothes. It made sorting through it tougher. That's what we call a somatic memory. Something felt by the body, the senses. They can be underlying and tricky to spot, but play a big role in how we can feel about certain things. Do you think my son might experience this? Absolutely, we all do. It's simply a function of our body, a way of remembering different things. If the sensation is tied to a traumatic event, then it can be unpleasant, but it's a survival mechanism. Charles shifted uncomfortably. Like a fear of fire? Dr. Anthony held the space for a moment. Yes, I suppose. One might associate the smell of smoke with their stress responses, for example. Charles closed his eyes, his breaths coming to him long and purposefully. The doctor waited. It's been 5 years this month, said Charles. Every time I think I've turned a corner, some intrusive thought comes knocking and just rattles me. And you're doing very well. Remember your progress. It's been said that we have a certain number of stress responses in trying situations. You've heard of fight, flight, etc.? Charles nodded. So that's our response in the moment. But what do we do when memories of a traumatic event come back at a later time? I like to look at 3 modes here: repress, relive, recall. We can squash those thoughts down, try to forget them, ignore to avoid discomfort. That's repression. Then we have relive. We can find ourselves back in the moment, and that can trigger things like panic attacks and the like. Not good. It's that third option, recall. That's the one we should aim for. We don't want to forget the bad things that happen to us. They build us, refine us. But we don't want to relive them either. That restrains us, holds us back from moving forward. Now, recollection. Well, that's like any other memory. We can recall, turn it over in our head, acknowledge it as a part of us, and move on. That's what we want to aim for.